Hello and welcome to SF1's Classic League. Here we go again for another Wednesday night of racing fun. 10 drivers today, very competitive drivers. We've got the choice of the 2009 Brawn or the 2010 Red Bull this week, so we'll be interesting to see what the split is. I would assume if you've got the Brawn, you'd go for the Brawn. The brakes on that thing are incredible. That 2010 Red Bull can dart around the corners pretty damn well, though. Beautiful stuff. So, Rosberg out with the Brawn today. Gumba also in the Brawn. Dragoon is sitting there in the Red Bull. So only 3 people at the moment. Interesting to see. I think we're missing a few drivers. I did think that we'd have Leclerc especially. I'm sure we'll find out. Maybe they could join halfway through qualifying. But it's going to be interesting to see which car is faster and what the gap is. So it's going to be interesting. Okay, so Whiffy has come out. Whiffy's in the Brawn as well. 3 Brawns and 1 Red Bull so far. Rosberg coming to start his first qualifying lap. It's just a short qualifying session today. So Rosberg is going to be looking to put in a pretty pacey lap first time round. Set a decent enough benchmark. We've got Dragoon, who's just starting his lap, and Gumba as well. But we'll stick and have a look at what Rosberg can do for the time being. Out lap for Jezza as well. Jezza's in the Brawn, so it's an overwhelming amount of Brawns. Livid Opossum and Dragoon at the moment, the only people in the Red Bull. We'll switch back quickly to Rosberg and see what he's doing. Oh, very aggressive on the throttle there. Straight onto the power, no hesitation. A lot of steering input then. I'm assuming he's a pad user on the throttle. There's a very tricky hairpin there. You're coming into the braking point. You've got to get the car all lined up and straight because you're coming out of a fast sort of right-hand flick. It's quite tricky to get the car stopped evenly without locking the brakes up too intensely. You come into, I say the final sector sort of starts around here, the final complex area. Under the bridge, 2nd gear on the power as soon as you can. Try and carry as much power as you can through that right-hander. Here we go into the final couple corners. And final corner, try and hang as much speed as you can around this corner. Look pretty promising. There he goes with a 140.4 is the first lap set by Rosberg, as here comes Gumba. And he's with a 142, so there's a little bit of a difference there. I don't know whether he made a mistake or two there, but Syke Zaney out in the Red Bull as well. Here comes Dragoon, the 3rd person to go out, and what's he doing? A 142.1, so he's slotted himself into 2nd there. Whiffy was out, Livid Opossum, Jezza is coming on to start a lap. Syke Zaney's on an out lap, so try and quickly catch up with whoever is doing the final lap. Let's say Whiffy is likely on a lap. Andrew J.S. Thomas, no, he's on that lap. So we'll sit with Whiffy for the moment, see if he can cause any havoc up for those top 3 at the moment. Rosberg, Dragoon, Gumba, there is a bit of about a 2-second or 1.5 second gap between 1st and 2nd. See if Whiffy can do anything about it. Here he comes on board. No, it must have been invalidated. So, nothing quite from Whiffy there as we switch to... I don't know who's in front. Oh my goodness. Andrew... Okay. Livid, here we go. Okay, here comes Jezza. I think I found the next person to cross the line. Let's have a look. Oh, Rosberg was the guy doing another lap with a 139.6, a second faster. As Gumba sticks in a 141.7, again a second faster, but he's not quite there. Let's see what Jezza invalidated his lap there. So it's only really Dragoon, Gumba and Rosberg that are setting laps here. Try and see. Okay, so Livid Opossum is stuck at 139.8 in. It's a very strong lap time from him there as Andrew J.S. Thomas, a very quick driver. Let's see what he can do as he rounds the penultimate corner. Again, got to try and pull as much speed as you can through this corner as Jono puts 139. Oh, Andrew puts in a 138.6. Another second faster than Jono, who had just beaten Rosberg to the second place. Very close between a second and third, but Andrew just seems to be in a league of his own at the moment. Whiffy skipping into the pits there. Jezza looks like he's on an angry lap. What can he do? A little bit of traffic as someone's facing the wrong direction. Hopefully the F1 game will give us some good camera angles to look at as Jezza, formerly Torpedo Jezza, ready to try and complete a lap without invalidating it, as many people seem to be struggling with. So 138.6 to beat. Look a little bit hesitant. Seems to be quite a bit of understeer in the front end of that car. Oh, carrying a lot of speed through there. Very nice across the line. Is only good enough for fifth with a 139.9. Who's going again? Dragoon looks like he's going for another lap, but it's too slow. 141.3. Moves him up to sixth, but it's not enough. Jezza seems to be going for another lap. Livid's into the pits. Rosberg's in. Jono seems to be going for another lap. He is. Can he pit Andrew? He's got to find a whole second, and it's very close, but it's not quite enough. Beautiful stuff from them today. Who else is out? Dragoon, Gumba. Dragoon's slow. Whiffy's in. Skillen seems like he's going for another try, and Syke Zaney is on an out lap. Let's have a look at Skillen, see what he can do. Oh, just as I look at him, he decides to plant it sideways into the wall. So, Whiffy, Skillen, and Syke Zaney yet to post a lap. We'll come back to Syke in a little bit as just see who else is trying to set a lap. 9 minutes remaining of qualifying. Andrew J.S. Thomas sitting on pole at the moment with a 138.6. Jono comes up second for the moment with a 138.9. Rosberg with a 139.6. Livid, Jezza, Dragoon, Gumba to seventh, and Whiffy and M. Skillen and Syke Zaney yet to post a validated lap. Jezza's had a bit of an off there, so everyone's properly pushing. Jezza's on another lap, looking extremely aggressive there. That was a beautiful camera angle for once from the game, as he whipped round. I don't know what it, formerly the bit after the Singapore Sling, I don't know what it's called, where Massa made that amazing move one time. Here comes Andrew. 120 as we hit the brakes for the bridge. Here we go on the power, feed it through, try and carry the speed through these two apexes. And this last corner, very important. You can lose or gain half a second here very easily, and he's off and straight onto the throttle. Here we go again, but it's not quite enough this time. 138.666, so just 300ths slower. Very consistent lap times being posted by the young South African, I believe. I hope I haven't got that wrong. I believe he's South African. Very talented young man. Can be a little argy-bargy at times, but we'll look past that. Whiffy. Oh, look at the safety car. What is that? Safety car is looking very uncomfortable right now. Syke Zaney, little bit naughty there, Syke. We'll let you off. Skillen's here again, trying again for another lap. Whiffy on an outlap. So let's sit and see if Skillen can do anything exciting as we head into the final 6 or 7 minutes of qualifying for this classic round. Here he comes into the tricky hairpin corner, on the power as soon as you can. Optimize your power output onto the track, get as much speed as you can. It's a very short straight, but you can really use it to your advantage when you're following other drivers there. We'll look out for that in the race. But here he comes into the tunnel section. Not really a tunnel, little bridge bit. Here we go. Oh, very close to the barriers. Keep it on the track, Skillen. On board. Andrew Tess Thomas with a 1:37.6. Ridiculous as Skillen aborts that lap. Heads into the pits. Must have seen that by Andrew and just thought, no, there's no point. Whiffy will be finishing his outlap, heading on to a faster look at the safety car still. As Syke Zaney exits the pits. Whiffy will be starting a lap. Jezza looking to improve. He's on an outlap. Livid Possum. What can he do? He's on a lap in the Red Bull, looking to try and push the Red Bull name a little bit further up. I'm wearing a Red Bull top to right now, actually. So go Red Bulls. Woo! Here he comes through the little tunnel / bridge section. Final 3 corners now. That's 1, little bit of a cut. 2, get on the power as soon as you can. Carry as much power, just a lift. There you go. A little bit hesitant on the throttle, could have used more track, but he moves it up. Livid moves up to 3rd there. We're 1:39.4. Not too shabby at all. So that is Brawn Red Bull. Or 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Livid loses it. Obviously, was just trying to squeeze that extra little bit out of his next lap, but I have to regroup for that one. Just 4.5 minutes remaining of the session as Jezza starts his. Okay, yeah, it starts his flying lap. Let's see what Whiffy's doing. Okay, final sector now for Whiffy. He's yet to post the lap, but let's see what he can do. We know that he's a fast driver. But is he fast enough to maybe try and squeeze into the top 5, top 3, or even push Andrew off that comfortable 2nd and a bit buffer he has? But it's going to be difficult as he comes carrying the speed through the final corner and across the line. It's a 1:39.3 and it's invalidated. So again, there's somewhere where he's just taking liberties a little bit too much. Syke Zaney, another spin. Is he ever going to complete a lap? Not by the looks of it. Whiffy just got to complete a lap for qualifying. 3.5 minutes left. You can do this, Whiffy. Jezza's on a lap. He's going to try and move a little bit higher up. Oh, Jezza, what was that? So I'm assuming that'll be an invalidated lap time there from Jezza. Oh dear. Okay. Beautiful interpretation of track limits there, bro. Just try not to get yourself a grid penalty as he flies across. You've got enough time, Jezza, don't worry. Desperate to get in and out. I think he'll just about make it if he's trying to do another lap. But as I love you can see, Andrew, John, Livid are in the pits. I think Livid's going to be happy with where he is, considering the car he's in. I'm not sure what the deficit between the Red Bull and the Brawn is, but we'll definitely find out. It's not looking too unfair at the moment as Rosberg. Okay, he's going to start a lap. Dragoon's in the pit. Whiffy's still out there. Still trying to set a lap. Skillen's on an out lap. Oh, excuse me. Skillen's on a lap. Syke Zaney, I think, is still out there. Trying to set some sort of lap. Okay, he's on another one. Gumba has retired or DNF'd from the session. Skillen heading for his next attempt. Whiffy. Sitting in 5th at the moment with 139.7. He's got to do a little bit more if he's going to climb the ladder. Rosberg's going out again. And Jono and Andrew J.S. Thomas are both going out again for another lap. So J.S. Andrew, I'm just going to call him Andrew. So Andrew thinks that he's going to, thinks that he can actually improve on that already blistering lap time. I'm saying all of this with absolutely no knowledge of what lap times these cars can do around this track, as I haven't even cared to try and drive one. Probably should have done a bit of research there. But having a second and a bit in hand is a very nice thing to see if you're the driver in that sort of situation. So I'm sure he doesn't feel too much pressure to try and improve on his next lap. But he's on an out lap. Jono's on an out lap. He's going to feel a bit of pressure because Livid Opossum's only half a second away, and we know there was a couple of mistakes in that flying lap that he did. Whether there's half a second, we don't know, but we'll have to find out. Remembering that Livid is in the Red Bull, so he's doing pretty damn well to sort of push into the... Ow, I just hurt my finger. Ow. Ow. He's going to have to do well to try and push past the Brawn, which is an OP and a half car in this game. It really is. The brakes on that thing are just retardedly amazing. Let's have a look. Whiffy's in the pits. He's trying to get out. No. So Whiffy is done. 6th for the moment. Jezza is coming to start a lap. Dragoon has just posted a 141.3, but it's not enough. Syke Zaney is still attempting just to set a lap, so slow clap for Syke Zaney for persisting. But that is qualifying. Time's up, so if you are on a lap, this is your only chance. Do not cut a corner and do not bin it. And Syke Zaney do. Dragoon, Jezza, he's going to be one to watch. We know he's got a handful of speed. Just whether he can deploy it at this particular moment. Whiffy's done. Rosberg is on a lap currently, so we'll sit with him. It's looking a little bit slow, I must say. Let's see. Oh, just a little bit too much as Rosberg stuffs it. Skillen's moved. When did that happen? Skillen has just slammed in a 137.66. So that's just 300ths away. And he hasn't finished. So he can still improve this round. I completely missed that. I'm sorry, guys. You must have thought I was completely retarded there. But completely missed Skillen jumping into second with a blistering lap. And can he improve this time round as Andrew goes a 10th quicker? But can Skillen push the envelope just a little bit more? And he's done it! Another 10th in front of Andrew. And it came out of nowhere. Beautiful stuff from Skillen. Jezza is just pinned it. We just catch him go off. And Dragoon sits it into the pits. But beautiful surprise from M. Skillen there. I was not expecting that at all. I thought Andrew had that in the bag, but that was wonderful stuff. Another 10th. He only had 300ths to find, then suddenly he had to find 2/10 from somewhere, and he just performed. He just whipped it out of the bag. Whipped it out, I must say. Whipped. Dragoon, you've annoyed me by going to the pits, which means we have to wait the full 50 seconds to move on. You bastard. So, qualifying is over. Skillen has taken pole position, followed by Andrew J.S. Thomas, a formidable opponent. Jono is right there in 3rd position, not too far off. So it's going to be an interesting race. Everyone was pretty damn close. But it's now that we find out, really. This is where we find out who has the pace. This is going to be some serious stuff. As I just try and log back into the Twitch app, because I'm missing all the chat. If there is any chat. There you go, Skillen, Andrew JS, Thomas and Jono, your top 3, Syke Zany, Livid Opossum, Rosberg, Whiffy Winner, GR63 Jezza, formerly Torpedo Jezza, and SF1 Dragoon, followed by SF1 Gumba. Rounds out your 10. Skillen whipping the times out there at the last moment. He couldn't get a lap in at all for the whole session, and then 2 bloody quick laps consecutively in the last few seconds there. So beautiful stuff from Skillen, surprising everyone with that attempt. So we'll have a quick break. I believe there's a quick break before the race begins. Give the drivers just a little bit of time just to sort out their race strategy. The safety car, if you look down the end of the pit, the safety car is still having some sort of panic attack. This is such an amazingly developed, detailed and developed game. Beautiful stuff. It's really not. Yes, I'm not a robot. Bus, 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 bus. Next. Motorcycle, motorcycle, motorcycle. Next. Thank you. Right, now I can read your chats. See if everyone's enjoying themselves. As we hold on just, I believe it'll be 5 minutes. So it'll be around about 34-35 when we start the race, I believe. I may be chatting absolute waffle, as I completely can't remember. But beautiful qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see what the lads from the back, such as Jezza, Whiffy, very quick drivers, see if they can claw themselves back up. I was going to say everyone's a points winner today because there's only 10, but of course there's only 6 points positions available, so there are going to be 4 sad people. I've just been told Skillen died, so if you could elaborate on that one, would be great. I have noticed that he's dropped out there, but I did see him rejoin, so a little bit of an update there if we're going to wait for him to get back. I see that he left. Psych, thank you. We're going to try and get him back in, or did he leave for any specific reason? I'll try and... Recent players... Skillen invites to game. Send him another invite. See if he can try and squeeze himself in. Beautiful stuff. That's going to be really disappointing for Skillen if he can't make it back into the lobby, because that was it's a really properly good lap time he posted there. I'd assume that he's maybe restarting his Xbox or restarting his system, whatever. The router, try and get himself back in. Again, I'm pretty lost for information, so I'm as in the dark as you 3 viewers who are probably drivers anyway. See. These cars are aids with no assists, so I'm probably going to die. Thank you, Psych. I hope you don't die. I think you'll be alright. Jono's readied up, so I unfortunately don't think we're going to see Skillin in the game at all. I'll quickly whip him just another quick invite, just in case. Very sad to see him. Okay. If anyone has any information on Skillen's situation, please let me know. Other than he left, I can see he's left. And Skillen's left the set. I can see a bit of an issue here. Okay, I'm staring at the pits as you guys are taking your... Oh, I'm staring at the pits because I was looking at Skillen. What a numpty. So this game is ruined. Please fix the game. Please fix the game. Skillen's joined. Skillen has joined, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he can get... Please say Skillen's in. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Skillen has just joined and he can get back in, take his place in pole position. Rightfully earned by the young lad, or lass, I don't know them personally. Because otherwise I got a feeling that Andrew's just going to walk away and we're going to have a Formula 1.5. I really want to know if Skillen's going to make. I can't see him. I can't actually like click on his name and get him, so... And he's not coming up through here anymore. Damn it, no! Come on, Skillen. You got this. Let's go racing. Beverage of the day, J2O Spritz, the peach and apricot. Beautiful stuff, especially when it's ice cold. So, as we line up on the grid, I don't see Skillen on the grid. No, I don't see him there. You never know though, because it is a terribly glitchy online game. If you'd like to post your... I've forgotten the word. Predictions, that's the one, predictions. In the comments, who you think's going to win, who you think's going to bin it. As we get ready, Skillen isn't there. It's Andrew taking up second place or pole for the moment, and we are off. A little bit of feisty bit of work at the back there from Liver the Possum, who manages to muscle that Red Bull up into third position from a little bit further down. Here's a swamp of brawns with just 2 Red Bulls racing today, but Liver the Possum is managing to stick with that top 2, or in that top 3 fight, as Jono is sticking with Andrew J.S. Thomas for the moment. But we know Skillen's left the session, obviously couldn't get in. Massive disappointment for the young lad. He managed to actually put it on pole with some properly quick and properly consistent times, but that was then and this is now. Andrew's in the lead. Jono's taken up second. Rosberg has managed to make his way past Liver the Possum. And there's a little bit of a fight there from 4th to 5th, 6th between Jezza's there, Dragoon is there. Sykes Zaney's retired, he's not made it through. He was saying that he felt like the car was a little bit aidy. It was a little bit crappy with the no assists on. He said, describe the car as aids with no assists. I don't know whether that's the car or just your talent, buddy. But nice little fight as Dragoon sits in 7th with the Red Bull. Livid Opossum's still there in 4th as Whiffy had to get out of the way pretty severely there. Livid's losing a bit of time to Rosberg, but Rosberg's actually starting to climb onto the back of Jono. Jono's staying within that second gap of Andrew, but we know that Andrew's a massively consistent driver. It's just up to Jono to prove to us that he is just as consistent and just as fast. Virtual safety car. So, what's happened? I think that's because of the Syke Zaney situation. I can't see any damage or anything, so I think that's a Syke Zaney situation. Dragoon with the Red Bull in 7th. Livid with the Red Bull in 4th. Everyone else is in a Brawn. So, Andrew, J.S. Thomas in 1st, Jono 2nd, Rosberg in 3rd. Livid Opossum 4th, repping the Red Bull boys. As Whiffy makes a little bit of a sniff, but there's not enough time and there's not enough room. The Red Bull goes very wide there. And Jezza takes advantage of that little bit of a moment from Whiffy, but Whiffy's actually managed to get back ahead. As we see bodywork everywhere. Dragoon is coming back into this fight as well, so maybe he'll be able to crawl up to the front of this little train from 4th down to 7th. Big fight here as Livid loses the back end a little bit. That gives Whiffy the run round the outside, but who's going to make it under brakes? The brakes on that Brawn are amazing, but oh! Livid just got the upper hand on the brakes, but lost the back end, and that in turn helped Jezza into the rear of him. That's pushed him back down to 7th. Dragoon's made that place a 6th, but Livid Opossum is still there in the fight. Beautifully hectic racing from 4th to 7th here. The Brawns fighting strong. Jono, remarkably, is actually still there within a 1 second gap to Andrew, who's just set the fastest lap on 1:44.4. But he can't shake Jono, crucially. Rosberg is starting to make a bit of a gap there from Jono, which is it's early in the race, so anything can happen. It's Singapore street circuit. Formidably messy races. Here comes Livid on Dragoon. Is he going to make the move? Dragoon covers the inside very early. 3 second time penalty for Livid. That'll be a corner cut. He just can't make his way past Dragoon. He's going to be fighting with all his might to stop him from getting past. Beautiful camera angle there. Those Brawns are just pulling away ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. Ever so gradually. So, Livid and Goomba now. Oh no, that's just been a bit messed up on my screen. It's not Livid and Goomba, obviously. It's Livid and Dragoon. Still with that little fight. Jono's gap is increasing slightly now. I think Andrew's getting a move on, putting his foot down. But Livid and Dragoon are still fighting. And actually, I think they're catching the Brawns now. It's important in this sort of situation. You've got to work together. 2 cars is faster than 1, so if you can work in a cooperative sort of way, then you're actually going to be able to reel in and catch the cars ahead of you. So next up for Dragoon and Livid Opossum is Jezza, if they can pull their way in front. Jezza, who's actually lost quite a bit of time to Whiffy Winner, who's gaining pretty incredibly on Rosberg. Rosberg 3 seconds adrift from 1st and 2nd. And Jono's sticking around that 1 second mark, 1.2. Rosberg, big moment there as he loses the back end. He desperately tries to defend that gap from Whiffy, which is closing. Livid still not able to get past. Oh, okay. As I say that, he's just got past Dragoon. I think there's a bit of a moment there because Dragoon had a massive run on Livid, but Livid finally passed. That'll give him the chance to attack on Jezza. But these two Red Bulls have been very close for pretty much since Livid had that little bit of a scuffle at the beginning of the race. He was sitting in third, fourth sort of area, but there was a bit of a coming together between, I believe, Whiffy and himself. Nothing malicious going on there, just a bit of a racing incident. But that actually pushed Livid right back down to about 7th, and he's been fighting from there to get past, finally, Dragoon. And now on to Jezza, as Andrew J.S. Thomas posts another fastest lap of a 1:41 dead. Very quick time for race pace. Jono's gap has now gone from about a second to about 2 seconds. He's really starting to fall off the pace. Probably trying to keep those tyres in good state for his... Oh, Livid Opossum gets a 3-second time penalty again. So that's actually a couple 3-second time penalties there for Livid Opossum. Jono desperately tries to stay with Andrew. Oh, my mouth is dry. Jezza, 3-second time penalty. So the penalties are starting to flow in fairly early on in the race. Livid Opossum is already on the back of Jezza, so that's gonna frighten Jezza a little bit, as he is going to be defending like mad. That Brawn, theoretically, I think should be a little bit quicker. It's a massively OP car. So we watch Livid try and make his way past Jezza. He's a very quick driver. He's one of the top runners in the F2, GP2, sorry, GP2 season. I believe he won his last race in Baku, which is a great drive from the young lad, but he's having a bit of a handful to stay in front of Livid Opossum. He gets the run out the last corner, but that top end speed just isn't there. And of course the brakes on those Brawns are just immense, so it looks like Livid's just missing out on that top end. Needs a little bit more straight line speed to get past Jezza, which makes me think that no matter how hard he tries, he's not going to get the job done down this back straight, as we just watched the Brawn slowly pull away. Must be pretty demoralising to see that. Very well done to not hit the back of Jezza by Livid Opossum, as he was alarmed by how early Jezza broke there. Or maybe he missed his braking point, but honest, it wasn't anything obvious there that pointed to either way. Oh, Livid just pushes that little bit too hard and stacks it. Beautifully done, Livid. Beautifully done. If you're going to do it, you've got to go out in style. And there is the remains. Bum, 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 bum. Well done, Livid. Round of applause. You lasted 6 laps. There you go. Livid lets us know straight away how he feels about that. But that is going to let Jezza feel very, very comfortable now. He's got a big gap behind him. He's got a big gap in front of him. He's just got to try and close it up now. Well stacked by Livid there. Andrew still in the lead. 4.6 seconds is the gap. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Jez's gap isn't closing. He's not actually managing to gain too much on Rosberg. It's As I say that, it gets slightly smaller, the gap, but not actually managed to do much. Now, Livid actually crashing there has sort of took away most of the entertainment for us at the moment. It was beginning to be a pretty entertainment race, entertaining fight there between the two. There's still plenty of time left in the race, and not all is over yet, as Jezza shows us that by clipping the wall pretty severely there. Lucky to get away with no damage. No, he has got a bit of a front wing damage there, so that's going to put him even more off pace and possibly bring Dragoon, who's only 3.5 seconds down the road, in for a bit of action. But we've just got to watch those gaps. Jono's actually getting ever closer now. As I say that, the gap gets bigger. I'm going to just be quiet. My mouth will be sealed from now onwards. Enjoy 20 laps of silence and noise. Every time I say something, the opposite happens. So, Jezza into the pits. Obviously struggling pretty badly with that damage at the front. Maybe going to take advantage of the early stop. Go to the end, try and make something magical happen, but I'm not sure what his intentions are as Goomba flies past. Let's watch. And that is an automated pit stop. Wonderful stuff. Didn't look particularly fast, didn't look particularly slow, but with a wing change as well. Jezza comes out in 6th position, and Whiffy flies past him. I thought they were going to be side by side there, but not quite. So Whiffy shoots past after having a stop, and Jezza and Whiffy are now together. So Jezza seems to be taking all the action for himself this Wednesday evening. He's got the fresher tyres. I'd assume only by a couple laps, but he's got the fresher tyres. So the question is, can he catch and pass safely Whiffy winner? A quick driver sort of slid to the back. I don't know whether wing damage or a little bit of a lock-up or something caused him to come in, but a bit of an early pit from Whiffy. I'm assuming damage as Jezza gets very, very close to the wall there. I almost heard the wheel clip the barrier as he flew past and hit the brakes. Jono's falling back even further now. It's down to 7 seconds, the gap between Andrew and Jono. Wasberg is still there or thereabouts, but he's 10 seconds down the road. A further 13 minutes, 13 seconds down the road, or we'll call that 14 seconds down the road, is Dragoon. Goomba, 6 and a bit seconds down the road from him. Another 16 seconds, you'll find Whiffy, who's having a bit of a scuffle with Jezza. And let's watch. Not quite close enough yet to be tarred in paint, but I'm sure they will come together. Not literally, because we don't want that, but they will place themselves precisely next to each other at speed whilst not touching each other's wheels. Hopefully. And then, once they come next to each other, without touching each other, they will fight and race. And one of them will be in front of the other a few corners later, and they will both continue through the race. And it'll be amazing, it'll be blissful and beautiful. Won't it, Jezza? But as I say that, the gap increases. It's now up to 1.3 seconds, so they should sack me. I wouldn't be a very good fortune teller. You will live a long and prosperous life. Exits the tent, gets blown up somehow. Come on, Jezza! Stoned, predicting a few love taps. I'm trying to stay positive. No love taps. No love taps. There's just perfect, precise racing, Stoned. Perfect, precise racing. That's what we want. I don't care if you can only fit a little bit of paper between the wheels, as long as you don't touch and it's entertaining. Just let me come. Watch. 1.4 seconds the gap now, so Jez is not actually able to make that advance. Jono's made his stop. He's only a second behind Dragoon and he's very fast, so I'd like to think that he'll make his way past as quickly as possible. But this could really spice up Jono's race, because if he gets stuck behind Dragoon for too long, maybe they have a scuffle. I like that word, by the way. Scuffle. For you Americans, it means like a mess. Like a... You know when they do that animated thing where they just flail their arms at each other? That would be a scuffle. Word of the day. Doesn't look like it though, because Jono's made his way past fairly nicely as Rosberg hits the pits. Jez is yo-yoing like mad. 1.5, 1.1, 1.3, just get that. We've already predicted the racing we want, so give it to us. Jono moves up into second again as Rosberg is in the pits. We'll have a look and see where he comes out. He's coming out now. Where's Gumba? Gumba's right just in front of him, so yet to stop, but Gumba's just in front of him. Whiffy's 7 seconds behind, so I think that gap's actually got a bit smaller there to Rosberg, which seems to have come out a little bit better for Whiffy. If he can maintain the speed that he's got, it looks like he might be able to quickly close that gap up before Rosberg gets past Gumba. So depending on how long Gumba stays out for, depends really on whether Whiffy and as well Jezza, depends if they can make their way past Rosberg or possibly just fight, which is what we want to see. We want to see some fighting. Rosberg within 3/10 of Gumba, but hopefully Gumba doesn't let him pass too easily. Let's see a fight. Maybe we can have some love taps here, Stones. You never know. I don't mind right now, because I think Gumba and Rosberg can handle themselves really. But this is brilliant. Whiffy just 4.5 seconds behind. That was nearly 7 seconds earlier. So Gumba just needs to push him, but he's going. No, he's not even going into the pits. Gumba's still there. They make contact. Pushes Rosberg wide, and Gumba's still there. Is he going to make the move again? Is he going to go for it? No, he's not. That was very interesting. He really hung round the outside, hung in on the inside there. Tried to stop Rosberg from getting past. He's still got an opportunity down here if he can stay close enough on the throttle. Rosberg lights up the back end. This might give Gumba a chance to attack. Doesn't have the traction. Doesn't have the traction, but that could have been interesting. So Gumba next on Whiffy's list. Whiffy's gaining very quickly now, very quickly indeed. Just 3 seconds away from Rosberg. He's got to get past Gumba as fast as he can. Here he comes. 2.2 seconds. Just close that gap up. 2.1 seconds. I'm not going to say anything because we know if I say it'll close up, it'll just get bigger, so I'll just leave it. And I'm going to predict that Jezza's gap will increase tenfold in order to try and get it to close up. It's opposites day, of course. Whiffy now down to 1.7. Let's do this. 1.6. Gumba's tyres must be wailing with pain. Here's Whiffy's on board as he flies on the brakes. Very aggressive on the brake. Gumba tapped the wall there. Jono's got 3-second time penalty. Gumba's really struggling for traction as we come through the tunnel. Try not to hold up Whiffy too much because Whiffy really wants to get past and catch up to Rosberg. Gumba staying out again. Gumba stays out for another lap, really holding up Rosberg. Whiffy, who can't get past. Gumba's really playing check. No, it doesn't have the... sorry, I thought it was going to lunge on Gumba there. This is going to frustrate Whiffy so much. Gumba's doing a great job of making his car as wide as possible. We'll switch to the broadcast mode and hope that it gives us something special, because Jezza is being pulled into this fight as well for 5th, 6th and 7th. Just 2 points paying positions here. And we're having a fight of the world between Gumba, who hasn't even pitted yet, and Whiffy, who is so frustrated as he throws it down the inside. But Gumba's still there, hanging down the inside, thinks better of it, and Jezza comes to play as Gumba loses the back end. Jezza's straight down the inside. Thank you very much. I'm going to go and attack Whiffy now. Beautiful stuff. I'm bouncing, literally. Whiffy was stuck behind Gumba for just a little bit too long, as that gap's gone back down to about 4.5 seconds. He was sitting around the 3-second mark, 3.5 second, which I thought he could possibly have pulled back in, but that was a pretty intense little coming together there between Gumba and Whiffy. But Jezza, crucially, has been pulled onto the back of Whiffy. Maybe he can catch that slipstream and stay with him. Ooh, my voice needs some water back. Excuse my language. Ugh. Andrew has pitted and is fallen behind Jono. What has happened here? I have missed something incredible. I think Jono somehow managed to make the undercut work on Andrew J.S. Thomas, and Andrew's stuck behind Jono. Beautiful stuff. He is going to be on the newer tyres, so it's sort of inevitable that Andrew will get past. But we need to see how good his racecraft is, because it's all well good being fast and pulling away from the front of the grid, but if you can't pass other drivers and race them fairly and push your way through, then just as slow as the back markers, buddy. So here he comes. Has a little bit of a peek round the outside, trying to cut back maybe. Does he have the threat? He's got a lot of traction there. Is he going to try and sneak it down the inside? No. Wise of him to not try anything too silly there. Does he yellow flag in Sector 2? Fortunately, these lads are coming into Sector 3 now. Jono's doing a beautiful job there of staying calm, keeping Andrew behind him. He's got to make sure he doesn't light up his tyres too aggressively, doesn't lock up too badly, because Andrew's going to be right there, and he's got fresher tyres. So all Jono really needs to do is try and stay calm. He's doing what he's doing, and it's working. So the gap's sitting and staying at about 5/10, actually increasing a little bit. So this is great to see. Jono's actually able to pull away from Andrew, who we thought was massively faster. Andrew gets a good run down a straight. Is he going to look? No, he's still not close enough. You see, these cars, you don't have your DRS. You don't have your same sort of ERS. I believe the Brawn would have had KERS. KERS. Not KERS, jeez. KERS, as it used to be called. So I don't know whether you can actually activate KERS in the game. If you know and you're on the stream, let me know in the chat, because I don't actually know if you can use KERS. But that'll be interesting. I can't remember if Brawn had KERS or not. There was a big thing between cars that didn't have KERS and cars that did have KERS. There was definitely 2 cars that had KERS stoned. I know McLaren did. I can't remember whether it was Brawn that had it or something like whatever Renault was. Google it for me, brother, and get back to me. Either way, KERS might be a thing. I know, however, that the Red Bulls of Livid, who is out, and Who else was it? I think they're both out. No, they're not. No, Dragoon's still there. Very slow in a straight line, these ones, but very fast around the corners. Maybe would have come out on top in Monaco or something like that. I've just completely ignored the fight between Jono and Andrew JS because Jono's doing a sterling job, if I might say so myself. Andrew, who's massively fast, just can't get past. Problem is, all it takes is for Jono to light up the back end a little bit too aggressively, and Andrew's going to snap that straight out of his hands. So Jono's in a good position to win. He can win from where he is, but it's going to be very difficult to keep Andrew behind. He's got to keep his head clear. Got to keep his input smooth. As Andrew gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for exceeding track limits. We saw just then how he thrust his car to one side. That's going to make him very nervous. That's going to make him very angry. He's going to want to try and get past Jono now as fast as he bloody well can, because Ferrari, Renault, BMW, okay, I was talking out of my bum. Brawn don't have cars and never did have cars. I'm just full of absolute trollop. Thank you, Stone. So, Ferrari, Renault, BMW and McLaren in 2009 all used the cars at some point during the season. But only Ferrari and McLaren maintained it for the entire season. BMW and Renault got rid of it mid-season. And I was about to read that last comment out as if it was something, but you're just commenting. Thank you, Stone. I was going to say Stonopedia, but that's actually a different book. It's very good. You should watch it. No, read it. Jono's doing an amazing job. Oh, there we go. I probably should have... So, Jono has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Andrew has 8 seconds worth of penalties. It is bloody well, very bloody tight, I'll tell you. Down to 3 viewers. Sorry for boring you guys. But thank you to the 3 that are still here. I'm assuming that you're drivers. Or stoned. Not stoned as in SF1 stoned. I mean, you're welcome to be stoned, but you can't be SF1 stoned because there's only one of them. That is a good point. If Andrew decides to stick it into the pits, it will only be 3 seconds onto the end of his race, but I don't know if Andrew's going to do that. As he looks down the inside, cuts the corner massively. Jono gets a 3-second time penalty there. I thought Andrew would have got a 3-second time penalty, so that shoots Jono up to 9 seconds. So Jono's got to finish a second ahead of Andrew if he wants to make this work. It's a massive fight as they're side by side again. Jono has the outside line, but it's inside for the next corner. Who's going to be latest on a break? It's Jono as he flies around the outside, keeps it on the tarmac and in front for the... I call it a hairpin because to me it's like a hairpin, but it's not a hairpin. Coming up to the old Singapore sling. Jono is properly lighting things up for us. Great little fight for first and second. F1 Rosberg's actually been catching massively as well since this fight started, so they're going slower than what Rosberg is, which is great to see them being pulled in. Andrew's trying everything. Andrew gets a 3-second time penalty. So Stoned, if you'd like to add that onto 8 and give us another update, keep the chat happy. Jono and Andrew just pushing so hard, giving each other so many penalties. It'll be nice to see actually how many Rosberg has. Stoned, I hope you're listening. You only get 1 set of tyres. It's just the Duro classic tyres. They're terrible. One set of tyres. They're just one hardness. They're just tyre. There's no difference. It's a tyre. They do last pretty long though. Cheza gets a 3-second time penalty. Sitting there in 5th and actually starting... I'm not going to say starting to gain on Whiffy because I think the gap's been sitting at about a second for a very long time now. I really don't want to leave Andrew and Jono, but I've got to give everyone else a little bit of airtime, so we'll quickly scroll through. Dragoon in last place and 33.5 seconds behind 6th. Beautiful stuff. Gumba, 6th place, 41 seconds behind Jezza. Jezza 5th, 1 second behind Whiffy. Whiffy 4th, 7 seconds behind Rosberg. Rosberg sitting in the last podium position, just 17 seconds, 18 seconds behind Andrew and Jono, who are fighting toe-to-toe for that first place. There's a back mark at the moment, but he's ghosted, so no problems there. Can often... put you off very easily though. 9 to 11 seconds. Everyone has to pit again. Quite possibly everyone has to pit again, and that's very well pointed out by young Stone there. Yeah, possibly. I'm just trying to take things as they go. Jono and Andrew. Beautiful little fight going on. Andrew just not able to get past. There's been moments where they've been side by side. He's made the lunge, he's made the move, but he's not been able to actually execute. This time he's not able to get side by side, but the next straight is going to definitely be a place to look in. Jono's got to try and optimise his run onto the straight now. Just don't think about Andrew behind. Just try and optimise your run. The closer Andrew is going into that fast corner, the harder it is going to be for him to maintain that. But like he has, he's got a very good run. This might be it from Andrew. Jono goes very defensive and actually stops Andrew J.S. Thomas from gaining that position. Whiffy gets a 3-second time penalty, and Andrew just can't get past Jono, who's doing an amazing job of keeping his car nice and wide. If we do have to take another pit stop, I would say either next lap or two is going to be the best time to do it for Jono, because if Andrew does have to stop again, there's going to be that 5 seconds taken off, but then he's going to have a far smaller margin to sort of to gain, and of course Jono with his penalties is going to make things very difficult. But here is Andrew. He's got to collect his thoughts, regain his composure and attack again, because Jono has been amazing right now. Really good driving to see. I mean, we saw the deficit in qualifying and the speed, and obviously at the start of the race how quickly Andrew managed to pull away, and the gap he actually pulled, which I think was nearly 20 seconds. I'm probably talking out my arse now, but it was very big. And Jono's just been calm, cool as a cucumber, I believe is the phrase. Just not let Andrew pass at all. Andrew's tried everything. He's been diving down the inside, he's got alongside, tried around the outside, hanging it around Singapore Sling, but nothing. Jono's had an answer every single time. So if everyone has to pit again, now is really going to be the time. Looks like Gumba and Dragoon have already made a second pit stop. I'm assuming that is incident related. So I was just distracted by Stoned, who's just spamming the stream chat. Why don't you just come and commentate? And then you can tell everyone your thoughts and feelings. You didn't have to leave me alone, you know. Down to 2 damn viewers. It's your fault, Stoned. You could have been here. Andrew's just... He's made the move, and he's made it stick this time round. Jono, this time, didn't have an answer. And due to Stoned, or due to me looking at Stone's interesting messages, I actually missed Andrew fly past Jono. I don't know whether he went wide. Jono went wide or anything like that. I don't know if it's fair, but Andrew has flown past, and I feel like a mug for missing that one. But now, if we watch now, the gap is gonna increase very quickly. I believe. Yeah, it's already to a second there. Jezza gets another. I've got hiccups. Ooh, Jezza gets another 3-second penalty. And I believe Andrew only has about 3 or 4 seconds that he needs to make on Jono before it's end game. Oh, Jez is retired. Jez is out. He's napped it. He's bamboozled. I am. 6 remaining finishes, so everyone's gonna score a point today. Whiffy's 7 seconds adrift from Rosberg. Jono falling back from Andrew. But what's going to happen with tyres? Who's going to pit when? If they do pit? That's the question. And if Jono was to pit, is it worth it? Because would Andrew, if Andrew decided to stay out, would he be able to make it to the end comfortably without being caught? I have no idea. If Jezza decides to come and let me know what his tyres are on. Just finding out a little bit of data from the other. Oh, Jono's got 3-second time penalty. So that takes him up to 12 seconds. 12 versus 11. So when Jeremy put out, I don't think there's going to be another stop. Jeremy was on 14-lap olds tyres, and they were on 20%. So I think the option to go to the end is there. So only 20% wear for Jezza, who was on 14-lap olds. I think it's going to be make it to the end situation. 7-ish laps to go. Thanks to the 2 viewers who have hung in there. Thank you to Stoned, my #1 fan. And to whoever it is who's watching along with him, feel free to enter the chat, unless of course you're a driver. I probably should have done this when we had 8 viewers, but remember, we've got new buttons on the Twitch dashboard. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and Twitch. But you didn't know that. Jono, 3.4 seconds adrift. It's not looking good now. The fight, the hope that once was there is perished. As Jono falls back. The gaps are pretty big now. Pretty big. Dragoon very far back. Last of the Red Bull runners. Repping the bull. Go Dragoon. 43 seconds adrift of the next driver, but he's still going to get a point, so it's alright. Jono's got something to whip. Did I just see a spot of rain? I see spots of rain? There is rain coming down. This is going to make things interesting if it carries on. I just seen spots of rain. There it is! There it is. There's rain hitting the track. There's rain hitting the track. This could get interesting in the final, or the closing laps of the race. Just 6 or 7, 6 laps remaining. 7 laps remaining, or 6.5. I don't know, but there's rain. Rain's coming. This could make things really interesting. Is it going to get too much? Is it not? Are they going to put inters on? Are they not? Someone gonna crash, even though we've only got 6 people left, and Skillen didn't even make the first lap. Oh, it's nail-biting. Nail-biting. Yes, there is a Red Bull alive. Dragoon, they're in 6th. They're going to come alive if they go onto wets. Well, it could be interesting, but it's not got much time to make. Let's see what the gap to the leader is. 1 lap and some under wet conditions. But yeah, the Red Bull's properly fast in wet, so that it could have been very interesting. I mean, if this was a wet race, it could have been a completely different situation. But slowly the rain comes down. I don't know whether it's going to make massive implications or massive difference to the conditions. Only time will tell. But Jono's actually managed to keep that gap under 4 seconds. I mean, obviously that buffer's not there anymore, as he managed to pick up another 3-second penalty, bringing him 1 second advance on Andrew instead of 4 seconds less. Sector 2 yellow flag. My brain just completely melted there, and I've forgotten what I was talking about, but that happens. We're 25 laps in, we've got 6 laps remaining. Andrew's in the lead, 3.7 seconds adrift is Jono. Rosberg in 3rd, he's been sitting there proudly in 3rd for most of the race, as Gumba decides to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Full of penalties this race. Jono on low fuel, so Andrew not on low fuel at all, so that's very interesting. But Jono's already struggling with fuel, whereas no one else is. Jono, I know I'm on game chat, so if you can hear me, you're running out of fuel, buddy. You're running out of fuel. You've still got 5 laps remaining, and you're yellow. Just to let you know, but no one else is yellow, just you. Wonderful, he's sorted it out, he's not yellow anymore. That was easy. Well, you say LMAO, but it worked. Sorted his fuel out. Let's see what else is going on as Whiffy enters the pits. Onto the wets. He's the earliest to make the decision, but is it a good decision to make? Doing the front wing as well, he drops down and exits. There's a lot of standing water in the pits, and it looks like it's transferred onto track, so this is very interesting. Has Whiffy just made a blinder of a strategy call, or has he not done much? That safety car's still having a bit of a bumble, isn't he? He wants to do roly-polies down a grassy knoll. Whiffy, onto the wets. Whipping up a lot of water. There is a lot of water on track. People are starting to sketch about. This is interesting. Ting-trestning. Oosh, indeed. Oosh, indeed. As Rosberg struggles to get on the power. I don't know what Andrew's doing. Andrew's trying to come into the pits now. Jono's got to do this as quickly as possible. And hopefully Jono's the faster wet driver. Andrew's got to serve a 5-second time penalty. So this might bring Jono in front. This is going to get interesting for the closing laps. I don't know where Whiffy is. He's miles away. But Jono's jumped Andrew. Andrew exits. Jono's just got to stay clean. If Stone could give us, Andrew will come out just behind, but Andrew minus 5. Yeah, right. So if you could let us know what the actual times are, that'd be brilliant, because I can't be bothered. I've got to look at people racing. Jono, 2 and a bit seconds ahead, so he's going to try and keep that buffer. I think it's a little bit more than that. I'd say probably 6 or 7 seconds, I think, is the deficit in penalties now, possibly. 12 to 6 seconds. So yeah, 6 seconds is the difference between Andrew and Jono. Jono's got to whip something amazing out of the bag, but everyone manages to get on. As Rosberg is just exiting, the pits now as Whiffy is coming onto the start straight, so he's not managed to gain enough at all. Rosberg's rounding the first corner as Whiffy rounds the final corner. And onto the brakes, so Whiffy couldn't quite make too much happen there, unless Rosberg can't really acclimatise to the wet tyres. But that has mixed stuff up as Jono managed to creep in front of Andrew. Remember that there is a 6-second time penalty gap between Jono and Andrew. So unless Jono finishes 6 seconds in front of Andrew at least, he's not going to take that first position. Anything can happen, but we know Andrew's fast. We just don't know who's the fastest. Just a handful of laps remaining as Andrew has that gap down from 2.5 to 1.5 in just a lap. Now, I don't think either of these two drivers are going to know exactly who's got what penalties. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough fight between the two as Andrew goes wide, loses the back end a little bit. Oh, very well caught there from the young South African. Chasing Jono. Chasing. Jono on a 2-second deficit. Remember, he's got to pull that up to 6, otherwise he's not going to make the first position, which he's really going to want. Andrew not looking quite as dominant in the wet. Only a few laps left, but he's not looking as dominant as he did in qualifying and through the first phase of the race. Whiffy's actually brought that gap down from 18.5 seconds to 15, but again, he's only got a handful of laps left, so he's going to run out of time. Unless he's seconds faster a lap, then it's not going to work out too well. Rosberg, 41.5 seconds down from Andrew. He's not going to be looking for anything but the podium step. Andrew being very cautious. Very, very cautious indeed. Really not wanting to risk anything. Maybe he knows about the penalties, but he really doesn't want to risk anything. Realising that I'm in game chat, he's probably heard absolutely every word that I've said, unless he's in a party. But hopefully he doesn't know about the 6-second gap, Jono. 6 seconds. Gumba gets out the way nicely. Not too much issues there, but Jono's running out of time. He's got to find 4 seconds. Andrews really doesn't look too comfortable. There's twitching and dancing under the throttle and the brakes, but this thing is whale-tailing, whipping about, simply whipping. Every corner is back ends out. I don't think Rosberg, Whiffy's going to have Rosberg at all. It's gone up to 16 seconds. Stoned. You're not bloody watching. Jesus. I spend all this time and you're not even paying attention. Look at the delta, Stoned. Look at the delta. I wish there was no penalties between these guys, because this would have been such a nail-biting end to the race, because Andrew just doesn't seem to be able to close in, and the distance that he's at, he shouldn't really be getting too much of an effect from dirty air. So, I think this is Jono's genuine pace, is genuinely quicker, well, not quicker, but quick enough to stay comfortably ahead of Andrew. Andrew's only got 2 laps left now, or 2.5 laps left now to get past and claim his pride, but remembering that Jono's got 6-second penalties. Well, he's got 12 seconds worth of penalties, but Andrew has 6 seconds, so obviously that halves the penalties, as Whiffy gets 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He has closed the gap, Stone, but he's only got 2 laps left. Are you watching? I'm joking, you might be right. I'm not joking, you're wrong, but you might be right. Great stuff between the two leaders now. I'll give everyone else a bit of coverage. Here's Rosberg fighting the wheel around the track. That's enough of him. Here's Whiffy flying down into the Singapore sling. It's 13 seconds behind Rosberg now. He's got to find a lot of time, but it's doable. Only 2 laps to do it, but it's doable. Here's Gumba. 1 minute, 2.3 seconds behind. Whiffy winner. It's Dragoon. 50 seconds behind SF1 Goomba and an AI. Which is brilliant to see that he could be bothered to stick it out to the end. I'm assuming that he won't get points because of what he's doing, but it's not for me to decide. It's Goomba again! Bet you missed him, didn't you? Yeah! 1 minute, 2.8 seconds is the gap now to Whiffy winner. Beautiful. Whiffy winner! Back on your screens again, free of charge. Flying into the first corner. It's brought that gap down to 11 seconds. It is made a lot of time, but it's just, I just don't think it's enough unless he can find 5 seconds this next lap. And another 5 seconds. I don't know if it's going to happen, but again, you never know. Stoned has him pegged for 3rd position. Welcome to Rosberg. As Andrew gets a 3-second time penalty, so please give us the gap, Stoned. That's 3 seconds. He's still screwed. Jono is still screwed. It's fine. Don't just ignore my hype. He's still buttered. Well and truly buttered. Andrew is going to be getting desperate now. I really hope he doesn't back off and think that there's just no point, because yeah, he's just got to find another 1.5 seconds. That is indeed right. Stoned. If Andrew lights up the back end just like he has, that might give him a little bit of breathing space. But it didn't do anything. I was about to swear, but it didn't do anything. I thought that was going to give him a few tenths, but not today. All Jono needs really is for Andrew to light the back end a bit too much, lock up, go deep, anything. And all Andrew needs is for him to stay where he is, stay consistent, stay strong and finish, and Andrew will take the win. As we go around the final lap now, all 3 of you, I want you to post in the chat, post in the comments your driver of the day. Everyone that is watching, including you, 3rd viewer. Including you. Come on, you can do it. Type in the chats, who was your driver of the day? Try and get some customer feedback. As Andrew and Jono very close to the final corner now. Well, they're not. They're about halfway through the lap, but thanks, Stone. Thank you. Here's Jono. Here's Andrew. Oh, Andrew's hit the wall. Andrew's hit the wall. It's going to slow him up massively, but it's still only 2 seconds. What's going to happen? What's going to happen as they cross the line? Andrew just takes it by 9/10 of a second with the penalties on top of it. That was almost spectacular. Almost spectacular. Yes, Skillen, his car vanished from the grid. Yeah. Should go like, I was hyped up there. You just ruined my hype. Please don't be my vibe. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Just waiting for Rosberg to take 3rd position. There's still time for Whiffy to somehow close 8 seconds on him and fly into 3rd place. You never know. Rosberg could spin, but it's been a solid... What? Ooh. That's what happens when you get hiccups. Driver of the day, M. Skillen for a vanishing act and a half. Wonderful. Here's Rosberg. Solid drive. He's kept it in basically third for the entirety of the race. He's stuck in there. He's driven it to the end. He's slowing down a lot. And there's Rosberg across the line. Whiffy not far behind at all. That was going to be pretty frustrating for Whiffy because he was gaining, making roads on there, making massive inroads on there. So there you go. That was your race. I will invite the winners in. And Jono and Rosberg. So we'll just wait and see if we can get Rosberg into the party. Often doesn't come into the party though, so we'll give him another 10 seconds. It's not like he's really gonna tell us much about his race because he was alone for the whole thing, unfortunately. I don't think he's coming on, so I'll get cracking. Andrew and Jono. Phew, goodness me. Who knew about penalties and who didn't then?
I thought John had won that, to be honest.
Mate, I honestly thought you had me on penalties because I had 12 seconds because I got one when I just, at one point, just got past you at some point. I don't know, it's somewhere where we were racing, I got one, and then it's just like, if I had known, I would have tried to push that a little bit harder in the wet as well, but I was just like, he's got me, so I'll just get it home. Yeah, that was
It
fun,
was
man. That was
amazing
fun.
to watch.
That was
It
fun.
Brilliant.
That was
Because
fun. I really
for the
enjoyed
final five or six laps, after the pits, obviously, when obviously Andrew took his 5-second stop go, which reduced his penalties.
That's
You
what
needed
happened
6
there.
seconds. Because you had 12 seconds. Obviously, no, yeah, you had 12 seconds. Andrew had 6 minus his. He took away his 5 because he was on 11 or something. You were you needed 6 seconds, and suddenly Andrew got a 3-second on I think the second last or third last lap, and you were already a second and a half, nearly 2 seconds in front, and all you needed was a second. And on that last lap was probably Andrew's scruffiest lap for the whole race. But it was also your scruffiest lap for the whole race.
I know, I think the pressure got to both of us.
Yeah.
Just coming out the last corner, Andrew caught the barrier and we thought it was all over for him, but he just scraped through with about 2.1 seconds. But that, guys, thanks for making the second half of that race so entertaining. I'll give Andrew the stage, and then of course Johnny, you can say whatever you like. Give us a quick rundown of your race, and you can thank your mum and your auntie and your nan and whatever you want to do. But I'll give you the stage for 30 seconds so you can let us know how you feel about your race, Andrew.
Cheers. I think I don't know about thanking my mother and everyone, but I'll thank Jono, that was awesome. I'll thank you guys for hanging around to watch it. But yeah, it was a pretty cool race. It definitely turned out very different to what I expected. But you know, the rain, and I actually took my front wing off at one stage, and I think I was just being a little bit too, wouldn't say cocky, but pushing too hard maybe. Took my wing off, pitted. Jono got the lead back. Then I took him, and I mean his pace. I think Jono, you didn't do much practice because your pace improved ridiculously during that race. That was awesome, man. And subsequently just turned out to be a very, very cool race. And I think I thought Jono had won that. I think he deserved it, but penalties clearly shafted him more than they shafted me.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Cheers,
No,
bro.
that's
Appreciate
great
it.
racing.
No,
Thanks, Andrew. Anything from you, Jono?
it was a good race. I really enjoyed it. At the start there, it was about a second between us, and then I clipped my front wing and just lost my pace
Oh, is that
completely.
what
And then lap about 8, I was like, right, I've had enough. I'll get getting your front wing. And then yeah, I've not done that much practice either, but even so, man, it was good fun. I really enjoyed that, and it made it interesting because with me going into already for the wing change, I actually like undercutted you, which just brought the
Yeah.
race alive again. And
Massively,
you
yeah.
you honestly you were really pushing me there. I think with by you saying I was getting quicker and quicker, it was actually your help because you were making me push real hard at one point, which was good fun.
Very fun.
But yeah, no, it's and then obviously the rain came, and I didn't know what happened to you. I couldn't believe I was out ahead of you, and then it was just it's what it is, all down to the penalties. But it was good fun, and
Very good
that's why we
fun.
race.
Yeah.
No, that was awesome stuff, guys. Thanks for turning up and thanks for sticking to the end. Cheers for the awesome racing. Congratulations, Andrew. Commiserations, Jono. It was a great race. You did deserve to win, but the game didn't want you to. So tough luck this week. But I'm sure we'll see you next week. Hopefully, where you can show Andrew how much quicker you can be.
Cheers, Lucky. Cheers, John.
Thank you,
Thanks to
Lucky.
everyone that
Well done,
watched.
guys.
Thanks to the driver.
Cheers.